This is a classic case of the proverbial F around and find out. The Trump administration has just announced that they are filing charges against a congressional Democrat for assaulting law officers at an ICE facility in New Jersey. And the left is having an absolute meltdown. The ultra-woke Representative LaMonica McIver has been charged with assault by the Justice Department following a confrontation with federal officers outside the Delaney Hall Immigration Detention Facility in Newark. Now, the incident occurred during a visit by McIver and other members of New Jersey's congressional delegation, all Democrats, of course, who claimed that they were conducting an oversight inspection of the facility. But it became rather clear almost immediately that they were there to engage in their usual left-wing theatrics, their protest performances, and stage a confrontation that they could use for their fundraising. So this was the same confrontation where the ultra-leftist Newark Mayor Ras Baraka was arrested, though charges have since been dropped against him. His arrest was simply for trespassing. But what's so interesting here is that these charges, which carries up to 8 years in prison for Representative McIver, they were brought by acting U.S. Attorney Alina Habba, and they were in direct response to the threats made by Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, warning that the Justice Department had better not indict any single Democrat member of Congress. Check it out.
What happens if they were to go and arrest these members, or if they would try to sanction them here in the House of Representatives?
They'll find out.
What would you do, though? What recourse? But doesn't that broach a...
They'll find out.
Doesn't that go across...
That's a red line.
What's the red line, though? I know we have this...
It's a red line. It's very clear. And so there are clear lines that they just dare not cross.
Now, the reason why Jeffries didn't give any specifics at all there, none, zippo, nada, is because there are none. There are no specifics. That is a classic bluff. There is no red line. And that's because politics is all about power, and Jeffries and the Democrats have none of it. They've been completely blocked out of power thanks to what you did on November the 5th. So if ever there were a classic bluff, that was it. And the Trump administration just called them on it. The Trump administration reminded this tiny, little, pathetic, insignificant minority leader that his words mean nothing. His threats mean nothing. When you have the full might of the Justice Department and the executive branch behind you, you're not going to be the slightest bit intimidated by meaningless words devoid of any specificity. Now, for her part, McIver is defiant. She is playing the victim, of course. Victimhood is the lifeblood of liberalism. You don't have liberalism without an oppressed population that needs to be liberated. Even though we have ICE body cam footage that clearly shows McIver verbally abusing and physically assaulting federal agents at the detention facility, shouting, I kid you not, I touch whoever I want, mother effer. Take a look. Needless to say, McIver is the one in red. And that was just the aftermath. That was after the initial physical scuttle that you saw at the beginning of this video. And you could see she's a total psychopath. She's a complete narcissist, abusing what little power she has as a Democrat congresswoman to threaten the very people that she herself assaulted. But as far as the legacy media is concerned, that kind of behavior that you just saw is perfectly acceptable, perfectly justifiable, indeed, even necessary. Wait until you see this. But first, gang, I've got a special invitation for you. If you'll all be in Las Vegas for the Bitcoin conference, I'm hosting an exclusive welcome dinner on May the 27th called the Golden Age Gathering. It'll be an incredible night with courageous conversation and a live Q&A session. You'll even get a signed copy of my best-selling book. But the best part, if you're a Courageous Patriots Club member at the gold level, your ticket is free. Now, space is super limited, so head on over to turley.pub/BTC conference or just click on the link below and reserve your seat today, and I'll see you there.
Alina Habba, who is, what's her job now?
She's the acting.
She's had a couple.
New Jersey, yeah.
She is the interim U.S. attorney for the District of New Jersey.
She's acting all right.
She's acting. Well, she has apparently now dismissed charges against Mayor Ras Baraka of Newark, so no longer being charged. He went to court last Thursday, but it is being reported that she has apparently filed charges against New Jersey Congresswoman LaMonica McIver. And I'm wondering your reaction to this news. Find more information. I don't believe the indictment has been unsealed yet, but our team, NBC News, is efforting to find out. But just your reaction to this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm just learning the news as we all are now. It is chilling. The reason why they're doing this is to shut me and my Democratic colleagues up. This is not normal. It is not the sort of thing that happens in a healthy democracy. It is truly chilling.
Truly chilling. Ooh, it's chilling. Something that does not happen in a healthy democracy. You know, one of the things that I'm actually very excited about here is how utterly clueless these left-wing nitwits are. Now, I know many of you have images of the Mar-a-Lago raid in your mind when you hear rhetorical absurdities like that being spewed from a borderline illiterate. The truly chilling event that does not happen in a healthy democracy happened on August 8th, 2022 at Mar-a-Lago at the behest of moronic Democrats like that and a Democrat-led Justice Department. In fact, we now know that the FBI was authorized to use deadly force if needed in that raid. You heard that right, deadly force. How is that not chilling? How is that compatible with a healthy democracy? And then, of course, we saw the total weaponization of the law in 4 separate indictments, racking up dozens upon dozens of felonies over bogus charges against President Trump. One, the Manhattan case, actually had to invent a crime that we still don't really know what it involved, all of which would have had President Trump spend the rest of his life in prison. How is that not chilling? How is that indicative of a healthy democracy? Again, the key here is that President Trump was indicted for crimes for the most part he either obviously did not commit or he could not possibly have committed, like with the Mar-a-Lago raid that accused him of unlawfully handling classified documents. As chief executive, as president of the United States, unlike Biden, who was vice president at the time, keeping classified documents in his freaking garage. Unlike Biden, unlike Hillary Clinton with her email server, sending secure documents on there. Unlike those people, as chief executive, Trump had ultimate classification authority. There is no institution above the president that determines classification status. It is the president that has ultimate classification designation authority. And so the Democratic Justice Department was accusing Trump of a crime that he could not constitutionally commit. But in this case, with this Democrat Representative MacIver. We actually have video footage of her shoving and assaulting both physically and verbally federal agents. But even that isn't enough for the far-left lunatic fringe of the Democrat Party. I mean, take a look at the absurdity that CNN's Scott Jennings has to deal with on a nightly basis.
Those videos, they'll see the whole thing, and it'll be clear to me, and it'll be clear to her in court.
I mean, the videos are pretty clear, are they not? I mean, she's shoving,
so.
elbows, some punches. I mean, this is
a lot of
violent
pushing
activity
and
against law enforcement, is it not?
It's a lot of pushing and shoving. I don't know if...
Would a regular person, if they came and did that to a federal officer, get away with it?
A regular person...
Like a regular, just a non-politician?
They might get pardoned.
If they showed up at a federal facility,
They might get pardoned by this
but were they
president.
charged? Were they charged? Were they convicted in court?
Let me.
Would a regular person get away with it?
You brought up
occupancy, and if these members of Congress,
what does that have to do with a clear video of someone assaulting a police officer?
Scott? Was that clear?
Yeah,
Wasn't
pretty
it?
clear.
No, there's nothing clear about it.
It's not a cheap fake, I can assure you of that.
Let me tell you something. If you took off your MAGA goggle glasses
It's
and
not a
looked at
cheap
it,
fake. If anything, the problem is they have a video of it. They have a video of it, and it doesn't look great. And if the argument is, we're here to conduct legitimate oversight, is that what oversight looks like? Pushing and shoving and elbowing and causing a riot at a federal facility? Is that what oversight looks like?
Now, we talked about this before, but what we're seeing here is a classic example of what happens when morality is replaced by Marxism. That's the key. That's what you have to get. If you want to try to make sense of what's happening with the left today, trying to make sense of the senseless, it's simply a matter of morality being replaced by Marxism. And what's so key to get here is that with cultural Marxists, they replace good and evil, right and wrong, with two substitute categories, and that's oppressor and the oppressed, right? There is no good and evil that exists beyond those two cultural Marxist categories, oppressor and oppressed, an oppressor group and an oppressed group, a victim group and a victimizer group. And the key for the cultural Marxists is that we always know who belongs to which group based on their race, based on their ethnicity, the color of the skin, or more broadly, our gender, sexual orientation, gender identification. So cultural Marxism replaces good and evil with oppressed and oppressor, and it differentiates who belongs to which group by their race, their ethnicity, their color of their skin. And so this is why the Afrikaners, the refugees from South Africa that were just admitted by the Trump administration, this is why the left is flipping out over them. This is why the left unanimously, and the legacy media, unanimously opposes them. By definition of their race, they cannot possibly be political refugees, because political refugees are victims, and victims are never, ever white. Victims are always, by definition, non-white. I know it seems absurdly simple, but keep in mind, they're teaching kindergartners this. It is absurd, as well as absurdly simple. So the key here in all of this is that once morality is replaced with Marxism, then pressing charges against Trump is good because he's an oppressor, but pressing charges against Democrats or this Congresswoman MacIver is bad because they are supposedly oppressed. And so what the end result of all of this is for these Democrats is they honestly believe that it is legal to break the law, all the while it's illegal to enforce it. I mean, you really have to get that. It's legal to break the law, and it's illegal to enforce. When morality is replaced by Marxism, you end up with a society, that portions of society that believes that it's legal to break the law. They are perfectly in their rights to defy the law, all the while trying to enforce the law is actually seen as illegal. This is why they will not strain every infinitesimal detail about a Trump indictment or conviction, while swallowing camels of loopholes that let Democrats off of obvious videoed assaulting behavior. It's because, as it turns out, the party of social justice isn't concerned about justice at all. Their only concern is power and replacing morality with Marxism, overthrowing the oppressor, victimizer class. That is the key to power for them. And as of today, the Trump administration has reminded them in the most forceful of terms, you have no power. You, the Democrats, have been locked out of power. You see, I think this arrest is very important because it creates precisely the kind of deterrence needed to check the radicalism of the Democrats. If the Democrats realize that they can weaponize the law all they want against their political opponents with no repercussions when we're in power, that's only going to embolden them to go all the way with this. Deterrence is the necessary mechanism that will limit their ambitions. And hopefully this indictment of MacIver is just the beginning in those endeavors.